welcome back to another video. So we're in a little bit of a different location this time. We're out in rural Hawke's Bay where my parents live. So changing it up a little bit, we've got a nice quiet rural road to run on. We're doing a 55-minute speed run. But before that, I just wanted to go over my first tip on starting running. If you're looking at starting running in 2025, this would probably be how I would start. So if you haven't done any running at all, just start by keeping your volume really low. So maybe only 1 or 2 runs a week, and make sure they're spread apart, so not back to back. And do that for a couple of weeks until you get used to it, and then increase your volume over time. All right, I'm going to start this run now, and I'll give you another tip later on. My speed run's about to start. 35 minutes at 4:30 pace. Let's get after it. Alright, 35-minute tempo speed run done. First run of the year. It's January 1st today. What a way to start the year. I wanted to start it on a good note, but that run was really difficult. We're sort of running on a rural road, like I said at the start, and one way is just a slight decline, and I felt really good, and I was actually running a little bit faster than my goal pace, and then I would turn around and come back, and that slight incline on the way back up the hill just absolutely killed me, and my legs were burning up, and I'd get to the top and my heart rate would be through the roof, and then start running back down again, heart rate would come down, feel really nice, and just repeated that. And it was actually really hard. I had to take a couple of seconds here and there just to get my heart rate back under control, but I'm glad I did it. And we have to have those hard workouts. Those are the ones that we learn from, and I will get better. That's what this is all about. Not all of your runs can be good ones. Not all of your runs are you going to feel good, but you have to do them anyway. So glad that's done. I've got a 10-minute cool down to do now. Just going to take it nice and easy. We're not going to film it. Jess is going to come and run that with me. So we'll have a chat after about my next tip if you're just starting running in 2025. That's good. It's over 10 k's. Alright, coming in. It's the next morning now. I just did a little warm up, but thought I'd quickly chat about my next tip if you're going to start running before I start my easy run. So on your first runs, integrate some running intervals with walking. So say on your run, you'll run for 1 minute and then walk for 1 minute, run for 1 minute and walk for 1 minute. And you might just have to play around with those intervals because everyone's going to be different. You might be able to run for 2 minutes and walk for 1 minute, or you might have to run for 1 minute and then walk for 2 minutes, and you'll sort of feel those your heart rate spike on your run intervals, and then you're trying to get it back down, recover in your walking intervals, and just build your overall time of the runs up. Once you feel like you can run for 10 minutes, that's probably when you can just start running and not do your walk intervals. And then your couple of runs per week will just be 10 minutes, and then build that overall time up really slowly, no more than 10%, between 5 and 10% each week. Build it up over time. So that's my next tip: integrate run walks to start off with. Keep it nice and easy, don't go out for too long, and yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy running, find the enjoyment in it. I don't feel like going out for every run, but I definitely feel better afterwards. So if you're not feeling like going out, go get after it, because you'll definitely feel 100% better afterwards. Alright, I'm going to head out on this easy run. I love running in some different scenery. Feels good. It's quite hilly, so I've just been doing one little bit back and forth like I said yesterday, but it's nice and cool out this morning, so I'm enjoying that. Got some good views too. Makes running a little bit nicer. Maybe that can be a little side tip, as wasn't a plan of my original tips, but change it up. Change up where you run. Don't just run in the same spot, same streets every time. Go on some trail runs, run with some friends, run in a different area, join a run club, make it interesting. Doesn't have to be this grind every day, same route. Alright, I'm going to continue on. Let's go. Our last day in Hawke's Bay. It's raining, but we're going to make the most of it. We're going to go for a run walk up the peak, so a bit of a trail run or walk. It's going to be a wet one, but yeah, I thought I would film a little bit of my last day here before we go back home.
It's gonna be a wet one.
We're only about 5 minutes into it, but seems to have stopped raining, so touch wood, we don't get too much more rain for the rest of it, because we've got a long way to go. I think I spoke too soon. We're only a little bit further and we came over the ridge, and it's raining and very windy, as you can probably hear. Anyway, we're going to run this section. It's a little bit downhill and flat. We'll check in soon. Influences out in the wild. Every time I film out in the wild, out in public, I always think of the memes that go, influences out in the wild. Even though I'm not an influencer yet, but maybe one day.
It's actually, well, spoke too soon. It's very windy.
Alright, we're actually not too far from the top, but we've got a very steep zigzag bit to go. It's just up, straight up.
Des hates it, but she still does it multiple times when we're here.
So we're preparing for that. Taking it a little bit easy today, but that's alright. Just the holidays, we're trying to enjoy ourselves. We don't always get to walk a nice place like this, so just making the most of that, and then we'll be back home tomorrow and back to a little bit more of a routine and schedule for my training. But anyway, we are gonna tackle this hard bit. I'll try to get most of it on film, but it is hard to show how steep it is. Hopefully you can get a bit of an idea looking up there now. Such a nice place to visit. I wish we had this in Wellington. Last little mild bit, and then we're up into the steep stuff. Looking forward to it. This is the view. Hopefully you can see past the trees. That's the last little bit. And back down we go. Ashes off. It's actually a bit of blue sky. You wouldn't believe it. Got a nice road to walk down on this side. We were gonna, plan was to run down, but it's a little bit wet and slippery, and we made the executive decision to walk halfway down now. Very windy, very cold, looking for the sunlight. Don't know if you can hear this. We're sort of dropped off over the other side, so it's much more sheltered. It's nice just doing this and not worrying about splits or time or heart rate, and just having fun, enjoying running and walking for what it is and why we all started. So that's my little rant for this video. We're maybe 10 minutes away from the car park, and then we're going to get a nice big something to eat. And we've got sun peering through the trees. It's nice, feel good after that. We were both feeling pretty average before we started this, so safe to say we both feel better now. We were just talking about it before, and we definitely needed that. When it's windy, rainy and cold, sometimes it's still good to get out and move the body. You'll definitely feel better afterwards, even if you don't feel like it, which I definitely didn't before I started. All right, about 5 minutes or less back to the car park. We've got sun. How good? Perfect timing. Don't know if it's going to last for long though. We're back on the limestone trail home stretch.
Obviously be mindful, but not like super strict.
Alright, so we're back at the car now, just about to go and get some lunch. But I thought I'd quickly chat about these Saucony shoes, Saucony trail shoes that I wear on the trails. I haven't talked about them on here before because we don't do much trail running Kapiti, but these are the Saucony Pedigree trail shoes. They've got really grippy soles to them, and they also have a rock plate in there too, so you can't feel the rocks on the trails. Awesome shoe, absolutely love them, and I pair them with the toe socks. Alright, time to get something to eat. Most of the food shops or the cafes were closed around the area. It's a little bit late for lunch on a Saturday, but we went to the supermarket and got some cooked food. Des got a big sandwich and I got a chicken and cranberry and brie croissant, and we're just going to eat this at the local park and then make our way back home. Gonna head back home now, out to my parents' place. It's about a 30-minute drive, and then we'll probably have a cup of tea like always, and then take the dogs for a walk. Alright, so we're back home now, back in Wellington, and I just wanted to wrap up this video by sort of quick firing some beginner running tips to help you start your running journey. I'm not going to go into huge depth. You can watch some of my other videos for a bit more of an explanation on some of these things, but these are just important things that will help you start running. The first one is be consistent. Just like anything, you have to be consistent with what you're doing. You can't do 5 runs one week and then 1 run the next and then 3 the next. You just have to consistently run every week. Maybe that's 2 runs a week to start off with, like I said at the start of the video, and then build your way up to 3. But you have to be consistently running every week to build that endurance. Next tip, which is really important, I got this wrong, is run slow. You have to run with your heart rate in your aerobic zone, so anywhere between say 120 and 160 for myself. There is calculators online how to work that out, but you have to run with your heart rate low at a conversational pace. If you run any faster than that, then you're going to have a hard time building your aerobic base. And also, another thing that I didn't think about is it's quite a lot of impact on your body when you're running fast. So if you run all your runs fast, then the chances of you getting injured is quite high, because the faster you run, the more impact there is on your body, so the risk of injury is higher. My next tip, go to a shoe shop where they can analyze your gait, your running gait, and they can analyze your foot. You don't want to run with just any shoe. Not every shoe is suited for everyone, so you want to be quite picky with your shoes and make sure you get one that's suited for your foot. This can help reduce the risk of injury, and also you're going to be a lot more comfortable when you're running too. It's pretty uncomfortable running in a shoe that's not suited for your foot. Another quick one is fuel for your runs. Food is fuel, look at it as fuel. You're mostly using carbohydrates on your run, so you make sure you have a high carbohydrate fuel at least maybe an hour before you run, and then you'll have so much more energy during your run and you won't be hungry at the same time, and your performance will be better. So fuel for your runs, make sure you're not starving yourself. That wraps up the video. Thank you for watching. I know it's a little bit of a longer one. I do want to say one last thing to finish off with is you just have to start. Get your shoes on, get out the door and go for a run.